Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Hello, dear friends, and welcome to Kardec Radio, where we are always nourishing our souls. I am Correa, and we are here every Tuesday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to study the very laws that govern the universe. If we are wondering why study such laws, because we are on earth to progress for immortality. And according to the higher spirits as registered in the Spirits Book by Allan Kardec, the best and fastest manner through which we can progress is one, by knowing ourselves, morally speaking, and two, by making conscious choices to align ourselves with the immutable divine laws. So it is, beloved friends, with this very intention in mind that Kardec Radio devotes this half hour every Tuesday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to boost our ability to progress in this life and much beyond. So it is up to us to make conscious decisions daily to invest in the good for immortality. Tonight, dear friends, we are going to focus on property, the first divine right. According to the higher minds, we are going to discuss the first of all of humankind's natural rights. Are you curious? So am I. Of course, we are always open to learn more. So we are going to focus our attention tonight, should you wish to follow along, on question 880 on the third part of the Spirit's Book by Allan Kardec. Let us please be mindful of the fact that the mentor spirits are at this very instant visiting our homes, inspiring us, and those discarnate spirits who wish to learn may be joining us as well. And every time we make the decision to light the candle of wisdom in our homes consciously, we are putting ourselves at the disposal of the higher spirits who may use our collective vibrations on behalf of those who are suffering much more than we may be at this very moment. So not only are we receiving knowledge for immortality and receiving treatment, but also we may at this very moment be recruited to be of help to the higher spirits through our collective vibrations. So please feel welcomed and embraced in both realms. Should you have any questions or comments throughout our program tonight, please feel free to write your question or comment on the chat, and we will be more than happy to interact with you. Let us begin. As we usually do, dear friends, we will begin by reading the question by Allan Kardec, then reading the answer from the illuminated spirits. Afterwards, we shall bring a couple of highlights to our attention, and then we may bring about an exercise so we can feel the scriptures, and we will then close our program tonight. So let us begin with reading the question we are going to focus on. The question that we shall focus on is question 880, and Kardec here asks, which is the first of all of humankind's natural rights? What are natural rights? Natural rights are the rights that we incarnate with and that God grants to us all, regardless of where we are born, what language we speak, what our background may be, because before God, we are all beloved children. Are you curious to know what our first divine right may be? The answer may be striking. It is very obvious, but yet we may take it for granted. Let us hear from the divine minds working under the Christ and here present to educate us. They, the illuminated spirits, answer Kardec and all of us by saying the following: the right to live. For that reason, no one has the right to make an attempt on the life of their fellow creature or to do anything that may compromise your existence. Very concise but clear and empowering answer to all of us. So the mentors are very direct because the illuminated spirits, dear friends, spare no words. So they are telling us that yes, it is our right to live, and by extension, it is not our right to attempt, either directly or indirectly, against our own corporeal life or the life of others. And we may be thinking right now, but Carol, come on, we are past those times of duels when we found acceptable to take other people's lives away, and we wouldn't attempt against our own life. So this question is no longer relevant. Okay, we hear you. So let us bring the context of this question and answer 880, closer to our contemporary reality. Let us frame this question within the context of the global pandemic through which we are all undergoing. In what circumstance may we be taking shortcuts against our own corporeal existence and those of others, right at this very moment, when, beloved friends, some of us make the choice to not be vaccinated or make the choice to consciously negate the existence of the coronavirus. Oh, but Carol, you are overreacting. How do you know, Carol, that this is the case? The reason, friends, we know that this is the case is because throughout the Spiritist literature, starting with the work of Allan Kardec himself, we know that we are responsible for the good that we do not do, and not immunizing ourselves, choosing to not immunize ourselves when the immunization is available is a problem. It is not alone an individual decision. Why? Because our decision has an impact upon others. How so? Well, if we choose not to vaccinate and we contract the coronavirus and become asymptomatic, we may accidentally, without knowing, spread the virus onto others who may be more vulnerable health-wise than we are. According to God's law, because all of us are granted the divine right to a corporeal existence, if a particular individual gets ill, becomes hospitalized, or even discarnates as a result of our decision, in the books of divine providence, we are the ones who are held responsible for that life, which was taken away by the virus that we pour the instrument for. Oh, how come, Carol? So then is God punishing us? Isn't this a contradiction? No, beloved friends, God is not punishing us. It is our own conscience when we review the movie of our current existence that will sound an inner alarm to let us know that we could have made a choice that prioritized the general good. Because we are reincarnated on the earth in the school of life to learn to be more selfless and thus prioritize the general good, when we, especially those of us who know of the promised consoler, make the choice to stop this flow of compassion and love and service towards others, our conscience will not approve of our decisions. So it is not God's decision to punish us or to be harsh with us at all, but it is our consciousness which will guide us towards the understanding that we could have made a better choice, better in a sense of prioritizing the general good. Yes, and if we also, beloved friends, because we ourselves have the right to live, as stated in question 880, if we choose not to vaccinate, we may not only be hurting others indirectly, but we may be hurting ourselves too. It's a two-way road, two possible ramifications. Why do we argue that? Because if our body gets ill due to our not receiving a resource that was provided to us, then we may be held as indirect suicides in the spiritual realm. Exactly. Why so? Because we, by making that particular decision, may cut our lives short. Yes. And if we, by the result of our own actions, discarnate earlier than the time frame predicted and allowed by God for us, then we are considered indirect suicides. So if we are thinking, oh, but this is too much, this is too radical, the answer that we would like for you and I, all of us, to consider is that this is not any person's individual opinion. Our proposal here is the result of studying the Spiritist literature. André Luiz himself, in the book Our Home, Nosso Lar, the first book of his series, is seen as an indirect suicide spirit. Why? Because he engaged in social drinking. Oh, Carol, now you're pushing the bar too far, Carol. It is not us, dear friends. It is our own conscience. Because in our conscience, we know that every breath that we take is a gift from God. So now that the lockdowns are relaxing in the United States, how have we been acting, dear friends? Have we been prioritizing going back to normal, as in engaging in happy hours, going to restaurants, mingling left and right, and being out and about? If we have been prioritizing having fun, we need to consult our conscience as to whether the decisions that we are making that may seem trivial at first glance are in fact not possibly endangering our lives as well as the lives of others. Right now, because of the pandemic and the risk of contagion with the coronavirus, question 880 of the Spirit's book has never been so relevant. And if we prioritize happy hours, drinking alcohol, having fun, as in taking drugs, smoking marijuana, even if marijuana is legal in some states, it may not be legal in the eyes of God only because we may be taking vital fluids away from ourselves out of the reservoir that God has granted us. And if we consciously or unconsciously, due to our own actions, take vital fluids away from our bodies, we are considered to be indirect suicides. So, on a scale from 0 to 10, here's the time when we feel the scriptures, beloved friends. Have we been investing in our right to live? How much have we been truly constructively investing in our right to live? From a scale from 0 to 10, 0. Not thinking about that at all. 10. Yes, we have been valuing every breath we take, knowing that there are those right at this very instant who are struggling to breathe, as we are well aware of, as it has been documented on the news. So this is our first exercise. How much have we been investing in our own right to live? And exercise number 2, how can we invest more in our right to live? By increasing our vitality rather than decreasing it. Spiritism as a science with moral ramifications that can transform our lives and boost our progress show us as through the example of our guide and model, Christ Jesus of the earth, that one way for us to gain vitality is to do the good. So, final therapeutic exercise for us tonight. Let us please, dear friends, pick one particular way in which we can practice the good tonight. And hello, Kizobamba, very nice to see you. Yes, I do speak Portuguese, but here on Kardec Radio, we only speak English with the English community, but please feel welcomed and embraced, as we know that as spirits, we are free from nationalities. We are all children of God. So welcome as a beautiful child of God, Kizobamba. Nice to have you here on Kardec Radio. So, as we were saying, dear friends, let us pick one particular way to do the good as a way to boost our own vitality by reaching out to others. Because without charity, we know that there is no salvation. How can we then do the good? We can write, post a positive message on our social media. We can make a phone call and share encouraging words. We can send an email of encouragement to someone we know. We can send flowers to a friend unexpectedly. We can send a meal to someone that we know would need that kind of support right now. We can even send pizza to the healthcare workers that are on the front line as we speak, working tirelessly. We can donate food to a food bank, for instance. We can buy a Spiritus book through Amazon, for instance, and send it to someone who, like us, as a child of God, also needs to nourish their souls. How about that? Let us invest in our life as a divine right and as a God given gift by boosting our vitality through doing the good. This is the exercise that the mentors of Kardec Radio are inviting us to engage upon tonight, dear friends. So let us be a little tiny ray of light reaching out to someone else in the name of God and through the mercy of Christ, our guide and model. So, feeling embraced and enlightened by the divine provider, we pray that we are all inspired tonight to do the good in a special way because God, Christ, and our own mentors are counting on us to be instruments of divine love wherever we are. So, feeling all the blessings that we receive every day, we wish you a beautiful evening, send you a beautiful fraternal hug, and invite you to stay here on Kardec Radio, where we are always nourishing our souls. Until next time, dear friends, bye for now and many blessings.